Welcome back. For a long time, cavalry charges have been some of the most awe-inspiring scenes in fiction. The deafening roar of a horse's hooves, the clash of swords, the galloping of horses, all of these make for an unforgettable spectacle in fiction and in real life. As such, cavalry charges have been romanticized throughout both fiction and history, from the ride of the Rohirrim in The Lord of the Rings to the charge of the Light Brigade in the Crimean War. And Games Workshop makes little attempt at hiding how much inspiration they take from other pieces of fiction and real-world history. This itself has bled into the existence of cavalry as a force in Warhammer 40k, something which seems ridiculous because when you're fighting things like this, and this, riding on the back of a horse seems like a bit of an underpowered response. However, while we may poke fun at the use of horses in 40k, like most things in 40k, when you take a step back and look at it through the lens of the universe, it actually makes a lot of sense. First thing I want to cover is the mounts themselves. These aren't your granddaddy's horses, these aren't your namby-pamby farm animals. The horses in 40k are something to be feared. Like most things the Imperium uses in their army, these creatures have been heavily genetically modified and bred over the many millennium to be the perfect fighting force. One example of the Imperium's skill with genetic engineering are the mounts used by the Death Corps of Krieg's Death Riders. The horses used by the Death Corps are designed to endure far worse battlefield conditions than have ever existed on old Earth, and its physique is far stronger than that of any normal horse. Its hind legs are so powerful it's able to leap over trenches and power through thick mud or over rubble. Its splayed feet, instead of hooves, can go through pretty much anything, charging over barbed wire and mud again. Along with that, it's almost hairless. It no longer has a tail, only a little stump, and its mane has been entirely gone. Therefore, it has no need for maintenance. You don't need to comb its hair like a normal Terran horse. Along with that, just look at the damn thing. A Krieg mount would probably be on upwards about 10 feet tall, and I would hazard weighing well over a ton. Psychologically, these horses are far more aggressive than anything previously seen in Earth history, with them having inbuilt drug injectors used to fuel this rage and make them fearless in the face of the enemy. In battle, a Krieg mount will charge directly into the foe's lines and won't be startled by weapons or fire or explosions. Along with that, a Krieg steed has armor to protect its head and a respiratory system to protect from poison gases, so commonly used by the Death Corps. In addition, these creatures aren't bred like normal horses, but rather they're grown in cloning vats deep below the surface of Krieg, much like the Kriegsmen themselves. Now, I don't care how much of an insane chaos fiend you are, if I saw a ton and a half of gene-enhanced muscle in a drug-fueled rage, armored and charging at me faster than a car, I think I'd probably get out of the way. Aside from just the sheer size, power, and strength of a horse in the 41st millennium, cavalry in 40k also have a number of other uses. The mounts used by the Rough Riders of the Astra Militarum can move for days, at a speed far eclipsing any other animal. Along with that, consider the fact that they're not dependent on fuel like bikes or cars, meaning that they have a considerably longer range than a normal vehicle. Along with that, as before mentioned, they can go over pretty much any terrain: mud, rubble, barbed wire, swampland, it doesn't matter to them. They can power through pretty much anything. This would make them invaluable for reconnaissance and doing light skirmishing attacks on the enemy. Furthermore, despite it being the 41st millennium, horse radar still doesn't exist, meaning that for the most part, an enemy force like the Tau, which focus on high technology, would probably be unaware of the Imperium using something like this, considering that most of their technology is geared towards finding conventional vehicles. As stated before, there's also the element of fear involved in that. Seeing a mass of gene-enhanced cavalry charging straight at you is bound to make any enemy run in terror, be that human or Xenos. Moreover, since the Imperial Guard take a lot of their inspiration from the military forces of the 19th and 20th century, it makes sense from a metatextual standpoint as to why they would have cavalry, considering that for most of human history, cavalry was one of the most prestigious and well-utilized forces in any military structure, with its usage extending all the way up until the First World War in earnest, and in small part during the Second World War. Hopefully now you understand why something as seemingly silly sounding as cavalry in the 41st millennium actually makes a lot of sense from both a metatextual and an in-universe tactical standpoint. Since there's nothing else, have a great rest of your day.